Welcome back. I'm Travis from Regenesis Permaculture, Costa Rica, part 6 in our Pasture to Paradise webinar series. We're going to wrap it up in this one. First, we're going to cover the essential elements of food forest management, and then also we're going to look at the most common mistakes and keys for success. Stay tuned. So the systems for maintaining and managing a food forest. Look, we've created this wonderful food forest monthly checklist. This is for, again, our brother Tom's project down in Uvita. It's still in development, but of course we have the months across the top here. And along this side we have a whole series of other documents that you can click and open. You had no idea you were going to get so much here, did you? These are the pieces within the system that we need to manage. And so for the bananas, for example, we look at in March, April, May, we tend to remove the hijos, the rhizomes for planting. And a couple times a year, we clean them and cut off the excess leaves and hijos, again, to make sure we're managing the bananas kind of with a baby, a mother, and the grandmother that's bearing fruits, to allow for good airflow and good light in the system. So there's much here for you to study and look at. And back to the so here, if we look over at this map, this is our friends La Luz del Bosque, Forest in Ara, came up with this. So these are different areas of the farm, and it's very useful to have rows within each area, have the areas, have it all a coded system for communication between the team members, and this helps with planning and management order. Beyond that, we're gonna do some pruning. This is very important, the formational pruning. We want to prune the trees as they're young. They can even be begun the pruning when the trees are still in the nursery in the bags. And the young fruit trees, it's very similar to raising children. Like, it's very important to put limits and to encourage them to grow in certain ways, have certain behaviors when they're young. It's much easier when they're young rather than when they're adolescents or adults. Here's another link, pruning. Here's a whole document on tree pruning, why we do it, how we do it, when we do it, why we don't do it. And also in this document, there's another link to another document you'll find that has specific guidelines and suggestions for different species of trees. For example, how to prune mangosteen, how to prune cacao, how to prune the avocado. All these useful stuff to know, it's here. Please use it. Beyond that, there's regular chop and drop. That's, chopping the support species, the vetiver, the flamengia, the ice cream bean, the Mexican sunflower, and specifically the arrangement of the material. I'm going to link another document there if I can. No. So it's in some of our other YouTube videos and some of the support species document. But yes, it's very important, the arrangement of the material. In brief, the woody, thicker material goes touching the ground. It goes all laid together so that the microorganisms can decompose it as fast as possible, can get the nutrients cycling back and feeding the soil food web and feeding the plants. And the finer leaf cover and the grasses are mulched on top to create a microclimate beneficial for the macro and microorganisms, for the worms and the millipedes. All right. So mulching, we need to be careful. We don't want to mulch actually touching too much on the trees. We often want to create space so that there isn't too much humidity, that there isn't too much fungal activity. We could actually create a fungus problem, and it could rot the tree at the base, at the stem. And so we want to mulch and cover around the drip line of the young trees. The drip line is out where the rain is going to come and fall, and around the edge of the tree, and these are where the most active feeder roots are. That's where we want to mulch. The summertime shade, it's very important. We want to create a placenta, especially for the first dry season for our young trees. We want to protect them from the sunlight and also protect them from the wind. So we'll often use the Mexican sunflower or yucca or pigeon pea to create shade, and so that the young fruit trees aren't exposed to direct sunlight for that first dry season. We want to apply microorganisms and compost tea regularly. That's again up in the schedule here. And I'm going to continue with this final little part. The most common mistakes in the food forest or in the process of establishing a food forest. We'll often try to do too much, try to plant too many trees, and then we don't plant them well. We don't plant enough support species with them. And then our young little fruit trees are left alone, suffering out in a very harsh environment. It doesn't feel good. They might die, but they certainly won't grow quickly. So it's better to plant fewer fruit trees the first year, plant many more support species, help build the soil food web and the biomass, and then our fruit trees, if we plant them the second year, will grow much more quickly, and in many cases even surpass fruit trees that were planted in not so well prepared conditions. Second point here is thinking too much about the goal and not enough about the journey. So again, thinking of the trees and not thinking of the forest, not thinking of the ecosystem. Sometimes we overcomplicate within rows, and if we do this, like we want to plant 50 species in a highly complicated row, it's fine if it's just you taking care of the forest garden, but if you want to involve others and have support of others, then keeping the rows very simple allows for other people to come in and learn and support without you needing to be there and micromanaging everything. Right? If the person coming in needs to know the 30 different species that you have in the row and how to manage each of the 30 different species, I mean, it's fun and it's exciting, but it's not easy to integrate other people into. So keep a row simple. And maybe the most common mistake of all, we don't know what we don't know. Sometimes we watch a YouTube video or a webinar and we think we know everything we need to know. And very rarely is that the case. So find people who have been doing this. If it's me, I might be available to help you. If it's other friends, other people who have more experience, we want to avoid the expensive and painful and unenjoyable lessons. And we want to learn the lessons with ease and grace. And so in many cases, that's by having a mentor or a permaculture team that can help guide you through this process. Because even though I've provided lots of information here, you still need to sort through the information and know when and how to apply it. And so the keys for success, as we're wrapping up, start small and slow. and adapt year by year. First year, just plant one tree row, plant it well, and learn from that as you go. And year 2, you're gonna maybe do things differently, and that's great. Learn from others' mistakes and successes. I've got 20 years of mistakes and successes here I'm happy and willing to share. Keep it simple. Again, within a row, keep it simple and create diversity within or throughout multiple rows. So you might have a hedgerow of Mexican sunflower, just simple. You might have a nitrogen row of flamengias, pigeon peas, and ice cream bean. Okay, that's pretty simple. Our tree row, we might have 2 or 3 different species of trees, cacao and avocado maybe. Maybe we have bananas in there. Okay. And the final point and the keys for success, get support early. Design is best done in advance. Like bring in the experts, bring in people who've been doing this for the first year, even before you buy the property. Bring them in to see, to get opinion if this is really the right piece of land in the right location for the vision that you want to create. If we're beginning this new life outside of the matrix, if we come out to begin homesteading to create an ecological permaculture center, retreat center, healing center, village, whatever we're doing, it might be our first time doing it. And so bring in others who've been doing this to walk you through the journey so that we can enjoy it together and have much more success and be much more efficient with our time and energy and resources. The future of humanity and our future well-being depends on it. So let's do it with ease, grace, joy, and beauty. Hallelujah, heaven, yes. Thank you. There will be links here down below, again, for these final documents and for our website, and maybe ways you can make some donations if you'd like to support us so that we can continue and support people with beautiful things like this webinar and these documents. And we always like to have the ability to support people who aren't as well financially off, who maybe own a small piece of land, don't have so much money to pay for experts to come in and support. We like to be able to help them as well. So help with the fair share component of permaculture and redistributing the resources. And if you are able to support us, please do. And we will help and continue and support those who are not. So bless yes, heaven on earth, here and now.